He bound to make the majors, he don't even like sports. He push free base by the book all day long. He said fuck school, instead of going to class, he let the cook away back, pump blacks to the money stack. No such thing as a dealer with villains. All I know is with all that bloodthirsty villains. Shit, I watch himself crack and pregnant women and choke. I ain't
trying to solve the problem, I'm a part of it.
Got my throat numb, liquor got me leaning, dropping my gun. Got a question for the Lord. Why someone knows
that was my fault
when
this
we
time.
having fun through a rose on the casket? Time to move on. This is where I'm from, a place of no return. A dead end block with a crack serve. Yeah, it's cool. I'm still a thriller bird. I know that's coming. I'm
Still
waiting
the
my
brother
turn.
burns.
Count Trump sipping into your bro. Count pennies like blow. Yeah, I'm shit with the crack bro. Turn your baby mama's crib to a crack spot. From a block away, hit a child's break. Better watch what you say, cause you can end up with some cells in your back like have a nice day. I know this ain't no way to live where I'm from. It's the only way there is.
Yeah, fuck it's the only way there is. All these other motherfuckers talking shit. Acting like they moving shit, making money, and never saw the rock in your life. True hustle, what's that new? Ride or die shit, can't ride,
I know this ain't no way to live where I'm from. It's the only way there is. I know this ain't no way to live where I'm from. It's the only way there is.
Never gonna stop riding, breaking the laws. I'm freezing never like a pot lobby, facing the balls. You won't be shot fired, I ain't taking the loss. My dog squeeze, that's on my iron straight in the score. They could try to hot wire, but you faded to go on. Now your mama starts crying cause you fatally flawed. Your body drop, bitch, outline, break control. The shotty pop, with your outline, face to the wall. We can brawl, a pop, olive, raging the war. The straight swords, it's just pop bottles, breaking your jaws. You readers know we make it top dollar, baking the law. Just crack slanging, see the block models breaking them more. I get a rock swallow, I'm taking the chore. But if I see them cops following, we shaking them more. The kid is living in chaos, the chambers with balls. We being not innocent, we dangerous. Don't walk, let it bang, and we walk in our cages. Slang every day till we locked in our cages. Walking my way, and you're dropping your great bitch. Talking your names or get lost to the pavement. PK, sharp on the stadium, I'm up at the saying that your garbage is based in a heartless place. Dog lost in my brains, if we walk with a gangster, you're on too dangerous.
I know this ain't no way to live where I'm from. It's the only way there is. I know this ain't no way to live where I'm from. It's the only way there is.
we live or die by gang like breakfast. Yo, just another day around the way. My homie just got released up out the cage. Wait, he got that look in his eyes telling me it won't be long till he back again. Yeah, it's a fucked up world that we live in. I swear when I close my eyes, I can hear the tears of my children. So in my seat, I wouldn't hear me. Die by the cold of the streets. Here's the life of a G. Something that I never want you to see. I'm watching angels and demons fighting over me. Yeah, the wind that gets to keep my soul eternally. They call this the struggle with life. All I know is around here it gets cold at night. There ain't no food in the fridge. Mama doesn't get paid this week. Yeah, they're yelling again, so it's kinda hard to sleep. Fuck counting sheep. I'm counting how many times God don't answer me. These cold streets, only thing that welcomes me. Yeah, I'm listening to my heartbeat. getting high, smoking weed. I hit the blunt, pass it to my dead homie. Sometimes it takes me a minute to realize that you ain't there. Spend a lot of time talking to myself like you're still here. Only thing I can do is pour my liquor on and say to my prayer. Just another day, living in the hood. Just another day around the way. Good today, I didn't die today. Just another day, living in the hood. Just another day around the way. Good today, I'm here to stay. It ain't unusual to hear gunshots on the block. Homicide detectives on the corner taping out the murder spot. The jack boys down the street saying, give me what you got. Little homie Mr. Rock, he hustle hard to get that watch, so we refuse to give it up. One shell from the clock, later on. Now someone else is wearing that watch. Yeah, it's a cold world, better learn to hold your own. What's the next tombstone that they call might be your own? Cause someone please display. For some reason, even though the sun's shining over here, it still rains. Lord, forgive me for my evil ways. I fear I'll never change. I'll always be this way. For some reason, we just gotta learn the hard way. Me, I pump packs from Selkirk to Broadway. I'll be ripping for my city every day, all day. From your black flag cup, if you feel me. It's gang life, motherfucker, till they kill me. Kill me. Just another day, living in the hood. Just another day around the way. Good today, I didn't die today. Just another day, living in the hood. Just another day around the way. Good today, I'm here to stay.
Get your ass up out the car, nigga. Get the fuck out. Hurt yourself, nigga. Hurt yourself.
Fuck school up in the streets. Don't need a GED, I sell crack with the working class sleeps. Live my life on the beat. No matter what, I'ma eat. If I'm a bum for a plate, might as well make it a feast. I go hard till I'm in that box. A little baking soda mixed with cocaine. Now the cookie rocks. Can't stick too many chops. I know they surveillance me. Fuck and let them watch. Satan's calling and we all on the clock. I have a dream. Every night it's the same. Tell me what this mean. You can call it greed. I call it get mine by any means. Yeah, the KID, aka the Sandman, putting to sleep like rockin' bye-bye, baby. Will the sun come up tomorrow? I don't know, maybe. Yeah, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, the boy done lost his way. Walking like you lost the way. Where to stay? Yeah, the boy done lost his way. Nothing good here, all he found was pain. Yeah, the boy done lost his way. Walking like you lost the way. Where to stay? Yeah, the boy done lost his way. Nothing good here, all he found was pain. Yeah, the boy.
I was raised up west side, money motivated mind. Teens standing corners, holidays be on the block and grind. Do this all the time, every day, you know I gotta ride. Money be a girl, say goodbye, cause now the bitch is mine. It's just another day, another crime, we live in the devil's way like renegades. Bunch of two-day crazies on the end of the day. Get on your knees and pray like you about to meet the Lord today. Slowly starting to fade, lost, living into an unconscious state. You don't want that faith, living life in the hood is for the soldiers. On your folder, and the paper I used for my kush, time to go love. So I had caught never showed up what. So I get more bucks. What that mean for a nigga like me? I might rob your whole family tree. Yeah. What that mean for a nigga like me? I might rob your whole family tree.
Yeah, the boy done lost his way. Walking like you lost the way. Where to stay? Yeah, the boy done lost his way. Nothing good here, all the time was pain. Yeah, the boy done lost his way. Walking like you lost the way. Where to stay? Yeah, the boy done lost his way. Nothing good here, all the time was pain. Yeah, the boy.
Going hard to my number call, trust me dog. You ain't prepared to do what I'm prepared to do. Work the car, the artillery I got, cut you in half like a chainsaw. Rat to tat tat tat, bags down. Stop, listen, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Murder in the first degree, homicide in my crib harassment. She just jammed the needle in her arm, now she can't speak. It's a cold world that we live in, take it from me. Yeah, in the end, everything I see and have seen is but a dream within a dream. Long days, cold nights, serving fees. This the life that we live, this the life that we live, this the life that we live, motherfucker. This the life that we live, this the life that we live, this the life that we live, motherfucker. This the life that we live, this the life that we live, this the life that we live, motherfucker. This the life that we live, this the life that we live, this the life that we live, motherfucker. It's that new shit, that gang life revolution. You don't wanna fuck with this, I got homie on standby, ready let it rip. I suggest you close your lips, stop bumping your guns before you hurt someone you love. No remorse on my gun, no regrets for these clips. Cross me and I'll second bounce shit. Got an M16, copied up the black market shit. Big guns, big clips, you don't want any part of this. I'm on that leave you retarded shit. We ain't shit, not giving a fuck who started it. Try and see how far you get. 4 goons in a stolen whip. Roll through, fuck your whole day up. Fucking clown, should've paid up. Not a great nigga putting in work. Covering your coffin in dirt. As far as I'm concerned, yeah, he got what he deserved. This the life that we live, this the life that we live, this the life that we live, motherfucker. This the life that we live, this the life that we live, this the life that we live, motherfucker. This the life that we live, this the life that we live, this the life that we live, motherfucker. This the life that we live, this the life that we live, this the life that we live, motherfucker.
There ain't no peace, all I see is violence in the streets. Junkies in the alleyway, homie broke us by any means. Random robberies just to feed. Close your eyes, imagine what it's like to be me. It's just the nature of the beast, no warning. We just sink our teeth, we rip the competition apart. Once the gun goes off, pick it start. He played until he passed on. A grown man cry like a hoe. What a sad song. All my soldiers put your flags on. We gon' bang to this song. I keep the strap like an ace in the hat. Yeah, I'd rather get caught with it than with all where I'm at. Got no time for rats. Tell Brooklyn he can kiss her ass. We don't talk to police, got no respect for the bad. That's why I keep the gun in mass right next to the stash. You can't play, you can't play. It's the nature of the beast. The nature of the beast. It's the nature of the beast. Say you can't play, you can't play. The nature of the beast. The nature of the beast. Nature of the beast. Say you can't play, you can't play. Nature of the beast. The nature of the beast. Say the nature of the beast. Say you can't play, you can't play. Nature of the beast. The nature of the beast, yeah, the nature of the beast.
I'm jumping on deck with my hand on my tech. Disrespect, but mama, get your face in your lap. You claiming you hardcore, but doing bass in the trap. I'm loading my gun up, and where the fuck boys at? It's murder, homie. Don't talk shit, get your burner, homie. Chrome on me, and I'm down for the first degree. First 48, and my cousin on tape. Cutting the cop up with a dirty razor blade. These days are crazy, but we stay getting paid. Fuck with the boss, so when your homework is great. I'm hanging with real killers and slanging with drug dealers. My city's a melting pot, controlled by the devil's plot. Don't care if you're ready or not, leave you dead on the block. You step ahead of the cop, she's up, hoes down. I'm joking around, catch you smoking a pound in your hood, holding it down. Killer King, holding the crown.
You can't play, you can't. The nature of the beast, the nature of the beast. It's the nature of the beast. Say you can't play, you can't. The nature of the beast, the nature of the beast. Nature of the beast, say you can't play, you can't. Nature of the beast, the nature of the beast, say the nature of the beast, say you can't play, you can't. Nature of the beast, the nature of the beast, yeah, the nature of the beast. You ain't gangster, all you do is talk, you some fat up wankster, stuck up in the back, shoot your checked up wankster, penetrate your score with my blades up, banks crack, start to break the walls when you stay blind. Keep your fucking flags and your chains up, danger, creeping in the area, you ain't wrong. Touch strikes, take it away from the gates, raise up, aim up at your brain, then we spread.
great sluts raised up in the gutter lanes where we laced up. Slam drums in no other way, homie can't go. Baker, born to the door for a pistol. Text one, they same thing, then I can't cuss straight thumb. We insane quirks with our brains nuts, place pop. Fucking with the Mary J. Slut. Make bucks all about the robbery banker. March cause we gangsters, bother you bet well.
You can't play me. Say you can't play me. Say you can't play me. Say you can't play me.
The nature of the beast, the nature of the beast, yeah, the nature of the beast.
You seen any gang members around?
You goddamn right, this gang members. That's PK every day, all fucking day. Better recognize what it is.
This black flag is all I need. Live my life like this every day of the week. Sometimes it's hard, but we still get by.
I don't know who owns that fucking beat.
I'm high. I'm high, so high. You can tell when we bust our guys. I'm drunk, so drunk. You can tell cause I don't give a fuck. I'm high, so high. You can tell when we bust our guys. I'm drunk, so drunk. You can tell cause I don't give a fuck.
Come on, chill with me in the tough town, sipping with the G's, round Northside, Isabel, down the CTL West, when we ride by, dipping in the D-Bell, live in the city, slick as fingers, keep a peace out, feel the chicken squeeze, H2L, release shells, so each shell, over on the sand like a seashell, and if it's beat well, hook you like you meet well, need help to buckle, make you buckle like a seatbelt, keep my metal high, so you pop into the heat well, crack, rock, hustle, crack, locks, the keys melt, living what can be hell, brothers in the street bell, C-Sims and S every day for the shit that we sell, I be about by any means on the TL, don't ever see test shit, never hear eval, I need breeze now, breathe so much we well, see how stimulate the stress in the streets.
I'm high, so high. You can tell when we bust our guys. I'm drunk, so drunk. You can tell cause I don't give a fuck. I'm high, so high. You can tell when we bust our guys. I'm drunk, so drunk. You can tell cause I don't give a fuck. I'm high, so high, so high. I'm drunk, so drunk, so drunk.
Drunk, ready to die, selling drugs where the cops walk by. We in the shack, getting the crackheads high. Take a good look at the bad guy. I didn't mean to interrupt the party, but the truck came out. Plus I think this bitch wanna fuck me. First I'ma knock him out, then I'ma knock one out. Yeah, after that I'm out, lay a check on the rampage. I'm gone now, won't be back for days. Living LCA, and now my head hurt. Pop a couple perks, try to slip it off. Usually don't work. Shadow people stalking me. What could they want? What does it mean? I might be tripping, but then again you might get shacked up while you listen. Y'all should listen. Yeah, pay attention. You know
I'm high, so high. You can tell when we bust our guys. I'm drunk, so drunk. You can tell cause I don't give a fuck. I'm high, so high. You can tell when we bust our guys. I'm drunk, so drunk. You can tell cause I don't give a fuck. I'm high, so high, so high. I'm drunk, so drunk, so drunk.
Now it's a motherfucking party when I walk in the door, man. Popping bottles full of liquor all over your house, man. Let me tell you something quick, if you don't know by now that I'm a motherfucking loud. I'm drunk and loud, I give a fuck about no content, that's the sound. So tell your baby daddy check before we get knocked out. I'm doing rails and drinking liquor, trying to heal my pain. Don't need a motherfucking hate, trying to get in my way. You never party, motherfucker, I'll be gone for days. Banging bitches at the bar, in the bathroom stall. I'm doing rips off the kicks that I hear ass calls. So I'ma hit the bend up and head straight to the party. Can't drop them motherfuckers backing out till the world starts spinning around and around. Till the break of dawn, till the sun comes out. Better come and grab your girl. Should've passed around. Ass high, so high. You can tell from the blood shot guys. I'm drunk, so drunk. You can tell 'cause I don't give a fuck. I'm high, so high. You can tell from the blood shot guys. I'm drunk, so drunk. You can tell 'cause I don't give a fuck. I'm high, so high, so high. I'm drunk, so drunk, so drunk.
Oh, shit.
Something like an outlaw, in this hood, up to no good. Smoking on something, sipping on something, sipping on something, sipping on something. Something like an outlaw, something like an outlaw.
You ever fucking dress like something else?
Smoking on something, sipping on something, sipping on something, sipping on something.
Mama told me stay inside, cause the streets cold. I need fancy money, yeah, the streets gold. See I'm on my own in my whip, getting gold. My hair was Al Pacino, De Niro, and Al Capone. Lost in the world, looking for my place, but everywhere I go, it's like I'm running in a race at a total pace. So I watch them all around me. These life is so hard, it's never easy. Had to fuck on the good just to get me higher. Running in the street to age quick and so tired. Eyes wide, made it this far. Struggle every day. Who knew you'd be this long? Hell never ends, so I'm like an outlaw. House free, draw free seat, let 'em out, y'all. I was stuck, it's like I'm living in a trap. Happy going through the top, and I'm never turning back.
Like an outlaw, like an outlaw. In this hood, up to no good. Smoking on something, sipping on something, sipping on something, sipping on something. Like an outlaw, like an outlaw. In the hood, up to no good. Smoking on something, sipping on something, sipping on something, sipping on something.
Something like an outlaw, black flag up. I'm hearing signs in my head, man. I think I'm fucked up. Matter of fact, I'm wondering where the fuck I am. Just releasing already up to no good to get. Drugs in my pocket, gun in my head. Lord, when will it end? I'm just waiting for some hope to kill me. But you probably have to be something like an outlaw, something like a gangster to feel me. I'ma pour my liquor in a glass and be fucking filthy. I'm sipping till I don't give a fuck. And now I'm in the middle of the street fucking random people up. God, that's why I'm getting high. Tell my mama that I love her, cause tonight might be my last night. I tell her don't pray for me, this is how I chose to be. This gang life's the only life for me.
And like an outlaw, and like an outlaw. In this hood, up to no good. Smoking on something, sipping on something, sipping on something, sipping on something. Like an outlaw, and like an outlaw. In the hood, up to no good. Smoking on something, sipping on something, sipping on something, sipping on something.
Incidents in short-term rentals here in Canada. There's been a lot of criticism directed towards Airbnb, with many saying that they should be doing more to prevent violence in their rentals. 680's Made Black is and one culprit for this spike in violence is the rise and overcrowding of ghost hotels in Toronto's rental market. And as its name suggests, these units are rented out on a short-term basis by absentee hosts,
Ghost
as opposed to
hotels.
long-term tenants catering almost exclusively to tourists. And the highest density of these ghost hotels, Airbnb says, is in the very hub of last night's triple fatal shooting in Toronto's waterfront community. In the wake of the shooting, Councillor Joe Cressy tweets in part, even though Toronto's bylaw restricting ghost hotels has yet to be enforced, that shouldn't stop Airbnb from voluntarily applying these rules today. I'm Meg Black.
680 News Time 205. Peel police say an arrest has been made in connection with a fatal hit-and-run that killed a woman in a wheelchair. 45-year-old Penny Coussard of Mississauga was struck yesterday morning near Dixie and Lakeshore. Constable Heather Cannon tells 680 News she was traveling in the bike lane when she was struck by a black Honda.
We attended and we did locate an adult female. She succumbed to those injuries. The vehicle did not remain on scene. And so we shut the scene down in order to maintain the integrity of the actual scene itself.
Oh, they got forensics.
A 56-year-old man from Mississauga has been charged with failure to remain, causing death, and dangerous operation of a motor vehicle. He's set to make a court appearance today.
They fucking caught him.
This is All News Radio 680 News. The start of February also marks the start of Black History Month. It began in the U.S. in 1926 to raise awareness and understanding of the school curriculum of the African
this year's a leap year, we get one extra day.
Michelle Mackey is taking a look at how Canada and Toronto are supporting the event. She joins us live with more. Michelle.
Judy, Mayor John Tory says Black History Month is an opportunity for Toronto to recognize the past and present contributions that African Canadians make to the city.
Toronto was the first municipality in Canada to proclaim a Black History Month.
However, there is still work to be done.
Really? And that is why we developed and continue to deliver the Toronto Action Plan to confront anti-Black racism, to take corrective action, to eliminate barriers, to ensure systemic change, and to increase understanding.
Now, there are plenty of events in Toronto, including a tour of
the
Spadina
sickle
Museum
for
to
like
learn about
15
Mrs.
seconds.
Pitkin, the laundress who escaped slavery in 1850s Maryland and later worked for the Austin family in Toronto. You can find a full list of festivities on the city's website. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau tweeting today in support. We celebrate the start of Black History Month and honor the legacy of Black Canadians. This month, let's celebrate the contributions they have made and continue to make to our country. Reporting live, I'm Michelle Mackey.
The Toronto Ravine Strategy has the okay from City Council. The plan is to clean up and protect Toronto's more than 300-kilometer ravine system. An extra $2.7 million a year will be spent to increase ravine litter collection and control invasive species. The strategy includes a loop trail to connect 81 kilometers of ravine trails across the city. Toronto's ravine system is one of the largest in the world. It extends over 300 kilometers and covers 17% of the city's overall land area.
Tomorrow's Groundhog Day.
Just get around and nobody'd ever know where you were.
If the groundhog sees a shadow, he gets scared, goes back in his burrow. That means 6 more weeks of winter. No shadow, he stays outside, brings an early spring. 680's Mark Douglas is counting down to Wyerton Willie's prediction
what if he sees a shadow and he just don't care?
Depending on what you consider to be early spring-like weather, Wyerton Willie is between 75 and 90% accurate, but you should take those numbers with a grain of road salt because those estimates come from the organizers of the Wyerton Willie Festival.
Whatever happens, I'm sure Willie's going to predict it bang on.
South Bruce Peninsula Mayor Janice Jackson gets the honor of bending down her ear to the albino marsupial to hear his prediction Sunday morning. And even though the Groundhog Day forecast for Wyerton calls for clouds with a chance of flurries,
a lot of times up here it could be snowing and it could be bright and sunny at the same time. So it's really hard to say what we're going to see.
I'm Mark Douglas.
This portion of 680 News was brought to you by the Herzig Eye Institute. Coming up, we will check where gas prices are heading at midnight.
680 News Time 209.
When you need to know, now.
680news.com.
Hi, I'm Cherry Tab, co-founder of the Herzig Eye Institute. And we do
You
vision
told us
correction
it's Black
on
History
chickens.
Month, but you
It's
didn't tell us
true.
very much Black
Afterwards,
History.
when they're
You
not
mentioned
feeling
one
chicken
person.
anymore, they always say, I don't know why I was so nervous. That was so easy. Thank you. Thank you for holding my hand and answering my questions and taking such good care of me. So what are you waiting for? Google high definition vision. Learn about Herzig. Call us for a consultation. There's no charge. Look after yourself. Promise me.
Now, the 680 News gas price update. Empro predicts the price will remain the same at midnight, staying at just under $1.10 a liter at most GTA stations. Traffic and weather together next.
680 News Time 210.
We don't have pennies. Why do you measure tenths of pennies for gas?
Getaways where you can save up to 50% off. The trip's planned out months in advance using redtag.ca's lowest price calendar. Plus, now get Air Miles reward miles on all vacation packages, including European packages. More rewards, more savings. Plan your perfect trip today at redtag.ca or call 1-866-5-REDTAG. Certain restrictions apply. Redtag.ca.
Gloomy, chilly winds and overcast skies. Ugh, that sounds fun. Take a break from dreary and get into the warmth of Ripley's Aquarium of Canada. You'll enjoy more colors, shapes, and sizes under one roof than you can possibly imagine. From rainbow reef to Canadian waters and dangerous lagoon, there's a world just waiting for you to explore. So when the weather tempts you to stay inside, explore an underwater world in the heart of downtown Toronto. Tickets at Ripley'sAquariumofCanada.com.
680 News Time 211.
Time for a check of traffic and weather. Together we start with the roads and Christine Lango.
And this report is brought to you by Shell. Not a bad drive on the major routes right now. We have a bit of volume north on the Don Valley Parkway from north of Don Mills to York Mills. That appears to be our busiest route. Southbound 404 Don Valley just low through the Shepherd Collectors. But once you get onto the parkway itself, it looks to be in pretty good shape. A bit of a bunch up through Lawrence, and that's about it. If you're traveling on the westbound Gardner, the only delay I'm seeing is through that construction zone from the Don Valley Parkway to Cherry. Past that, everything opens up nicely on the northbound 410 right at the top at the ramp to Valleywood here, Ontario. The right lane is blocked with a collision on that ramp, not causing any backup. Eastbound 401 is busy from Mississauga Road to Mavis, Dixon to east of Kipling, approaching Bayview to Leslie Express and Collectors, and on the eastbound 401 ramp to Meadowvale, problems have been cleared away. And it looks like we have some volume on the westbound 401 from about Nielsen Road to, or rather through Morningside to Nielsen Road, but even that's starting to ease. It's a bit busy through Avenue Road in the Express as well. Trade winter blues for red hot deals at Shell. Get up to 100 Air Miles reward miles and check out other exciting offers on site. Conditions apply. Visit shell.ca/red hot deals. Your next report is at 2:21, and now with the forecast, here's meteorologist Jason Fraser.
Well, Christine, right now we're seeing just a few snowflakes fall right now over Brampton as well as Vaughan and into Newmarket and Mississauga. If you are in the city of Toronto, you're likely going to start seeing this within the next 20 minutes or so. And we anticipated that this was going to be happening. So say goodbye to the sunshine.
You said the east end would get snow and the west end wouldn't.
We will see
and
just
now
some
you're
clouds,
telling
but it will
us
be a little chilly. We'll see a low temperature dip
that
down
it's
to
snowing
-1.
right
And
now
for tomorrow,
in the west
we're going to see a mix of rain as well as some freezing rain and some snowflakes possible with a high of +2 degrees. Right now at Pearson at 0 degrees, the guaranteed high is +1.
680 News Time 213. Are you commuting today? Well, just a heads up, the TTC has some service disruptions underway. Subway service on line 1 is shut down from Finch to Eglinton. Shuttle buses, though, will be running. North York Center Station will also be closed, so Wheel-Trans commuters can talk to a TTC employee if they need help. During the closure, workers will be installing a signaling system, and service is all expected to resume as usual on Monday morning. Still to come on 680 News, celebrations in the UK as the clock struck on Brexit.
Game day Sunday. The excitement, the heart-pounding adrenaline.
And the hearty Italian classics from Palma Pasta. Change up your game day traditions. Feed your hungry fans with an extra large meat or veggie lasagna for $65.99 or a large lasagna for $26.99. Today and tomorrow only. Cheesy and hearty, perfect for the big game. For locations, visit palmapasta.com. Palma Pasta, Italian tradition.
Simply delicious. Northwood Mortgage people work harder to find solutions just for you. One example, Northwood regularly helps families get into new homes after the bank has turned them down. Unlike the big banks, Northwood Mortgage is more flexible. Northwood Mortgage listens and works harder
I need
to
like
create a solution that's
$40,000
customized for
today
you.
with no collateral or questions.
Visit northwoodmortgage.com.
We're working harder for you.
License 10349.
This is All News Radio, 680 News.
A cloudy sky and 1 degree feels more like -3 with the wind. Good afternoon from the 680 News Broadcast Center in downtown Toronto. I'm Judy Friedman. Here are the top stories this hour. A triple homicide shaking residents of a City Place high-rise near Queens Wharf and Fort York Boulevard. It happened around 10:30 last night. 3 young men aged 20, 22, and 19 have all died. 2 others were hurt in what investigators are describing as a party at an Airbnb gone wrong. Today marks the start of Black History Month. This year's theme is Canadians of African descent going forward, guided by the past. Our Michelle Mackey has more on the events taking place this month and how you can honor the legacy of Black Canadians both past and present. And a heads up for commuters, no service all weekend long along Line 1, the Yonge University line between Finch and Eglinton stations. Now time for 680 Sports. From Sportsnet 590 The Fan, here's Brent Gunning.
Little breaking news from the Raptors today. Norm Powell has been on a heater lately, scoring in double figures in every game this month with the exception of 2, and now he is sidelined. Powell breaking a bone in his hand. He is considered out indefinitely. Raptors off today after finishing a back-to-back with a win in Detroit last night. With that win, Nick Nurse and the coaching staff lock up all-star coaching honors. The Leafs trying to run their win streak to 3 tonight. They'll be at home against the Senators. Lineup looks a little different. Travis Dermott is 6, so Martin Marincin takes his place. Michael Hutchison will make the start. You can watch it on Sportsnet starting with the pregame at 6:30. 3 games on the go now in the NHL. The biggest one that Leafs fans are watching has the Canadiens home to the Panthers. That is scoreless in the first period. The Sabres, they're up 1-0 on the Blue Jackets in the second. Find that game on Sportsnet. While the Canucks and Isles are knotted up at once. The PGA Tour stop this week is the Waste Management Open, where JB Holmes continues to lead by 1 shot. Billy Horschel is the one giving chase. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour or anytime at sportsnet.ca/590.
680 News Time 2:17.
I've got to buy new equipment for my business.
I want to increase my online sales. I wish I could expand my team.
I want to see my business move forward.
Things can move fast when you're in business. And at BDC, we understand entrepreneurs. With our 100% online small business loan, you could quickly make your project a reality. Go to bdc.ca/online loan. Apply in minutes and get up to $100,000 within 48 hours of approval. Apply now at bdc.ca/online loan.
Do you consider traffic me time?
I mean, isn't it?
Was your last sandcastle made of snow?
It was mostly ice.
Do you think Puerto Plata is an appetizer?
I'm good with salsa.
This is your Air Transat flight attendant, and I think you could use our vacation intervention promo.
Vacation?
Save up to $1,000 per couple on sound packages by going to transat.com or call your Marla travel professional.
Air Transat. Vacation is calling. You're listening to All News Radio 680 News. It's 2:18. The Trump administration is further clamping down on immigration as U.S. presidential elections near. The White House announcing yesterday that it was restricting immigrants from additional countries that officials say failed to meet minimum security standards. ABC's Julia McFarlane reports.
What does that mean?
The U.S. is expanding its immigration restrictions to include 6 more nations. Nigeria, Eritrea, Sudan, Tanzania, Kyrgyzstan, and Myanmar will be blocked from obtaining visas. People from those countries will, however, still be able to visit the U.S. as tourists.
The new restrictions go into effect later this month. The administration recently announcing birth tourism restrictions.
The common
It's
element
touting
there
the
is
sharp
heroin.
decline in crossing at the U.S.-Mexican border and citing progress on
And
building
natural
the border
resources
wall.
of some type.
Full House actress Lori Loughlin and her fashion designer husband have filed court documents claiming prosecutors hid evidence in their case. The couple is netted in the college admissions cheating investigation. We get more now from ABC's Eva Pilgrim.
You can pay for your kids to get better grades. You can pay the fucking
USC
fine.
officials to gain admission for their 2 daughters and had no knowledge of where their money was actually going. According to the documents, the parents believed their payments were legitimate donations. Further citing
Why were
that
they in
USC
cash?
has had an institutional practice of tightly intertwining admissions and fundraising.
The couple is accused of paying $500,000 to get their daughters designated as crew recruits to the University of Southern California, even though neither of them is a rower. 680 News Time 2:19. It's a new day of political freedom for the UK and supporters
No,
of the
they're just shitty rowers.
Brexit. There were
Put them in a
celebrations
rowboat,
last
they're
night.
now rowers. They're
Official
just
departure from the
shitty
EU
rowers.
at 11 p.m. on Friday. Hundreds of people gathered in Westminster's Parliament Square for a street party, while the countdown was projected onto dozens of landmarks across the country.
And the issue has divided the UK, and
got
disappointed
drunk
pro-European
on Friday
Union
night.
supporters gathered in Edinburgh to sing the EU's
Wow.
anthem, Ode to
Howdy,
Joy.
howdy, UK.
There is still an 11-month transition period for the UK and the EU to work out a new trade deal. Coming up in 60 seconds, check of traffic and your extended forecast.
You're catering a wedding, and the bride says,
Everyone
They
is
said
raving about the
25 and then
My aunt
35
was asking
kilometer
if
an
you
hour
do corporate
winds. So
events.
now they're not
you look
mentioning
down
winds.
across all those guests. Your smile beams, your heart
I know
pounds.
if I go out
This is the
there, I'm
moment
not
when the
going to
right
get pushed
business
back
card
in
is
by the
essential,
wind.
and Vistaprint can help. Right now, we're introducing free shipping on all business cards in any quantity.
Oh,
So
shit,
now
I'm
imagine that
supposed to be
same
there.
wedding, but this time, you're ready to own the now with a stack of business cards that are as enticing as your entrees. And Vistaprint caters to any small business. You choose the paper, the shape, and the finish. Go with a square card, or maybe one with rounded corners and a metallic finish. Whatever your style,
just give me a
create a
card
card
with my
that gives you
phone
the
number on
confidence to make the most of every opportunity. Because either you let things happen.
This story goes back a ways. Toronto has been fucked up for a long time. Mob kingpin Comiso. Now they're saying he's not a kingpin, but this is the headline. Mob kingpin Comiso with Toronto ties wins murder appeal. Reputed gangland kingpin Cosimo Comiso, I swear to God, has wiggled out of a long jolt in an Italian prison as a judge torpedoed a prosecution appeal. By the way, reputed gangland kingpin. Again, they're citing themselves. They're the media. They called him that on the basis of him being found guilty, but now they're saying he's not. So, for decades, the Comiso family lorded over the city's underworld with tentacles stretching from Italy across southern Ontario, if you say so. The 70-year-old crime lord had spent 26 years in an Italian prison after he was... What? The 70-year-old... Holy fuck. Crime lord had spent 26 years in an Italian prison after he was convicted of 5 murders and 3 attempted murders between May 1989 and July 1991. On Wednesday, Italy's Court of Cassation, I don't know what that means, confirmed that the appeal Comiso won a year ago was valid, and an appeal by the general prosecutor of Naples was tossed. It was ruled that Comiso had no hand in the underworld settling of accounts, the Gazzetta del Sud reported, calling Comiso a, quote, boss of two worlds, end quote. The slayings were called, quote, the feud of Siderno. So again, they're probably quoting themselves, possibly quoting like somebody who said it. But however, the suspected mob lord remains in jail on other matters, really? But local sources say he remains atop 'Ndrangheta. Comiso has a serious but dated criminal record, including conspiring to murder 2 Sicilian mobsters in Toronto. He has denied involvement in criminal activities. Comiso was captured in Woodbridge in 2005. He reportedly took control of the family following the death of his father, Francesco. In January 1993, Comiso was arrested on charges of being the boss of a mafia clan and the mastermind behind the 5 murders, and sentenced to life imprisonment in 1998. In January 2019, the Court of Appeal of Naples acquitted him in a review process for not having committed the offense. So he's not the kingpin. Oh, you go. It's a woo girl.
Test in the south of Rutherford, a bit of snow coming down through there. Weather. This moisture-laden Texas low has triggered widespread rainfall warnings across the GTA.
When you need to know.
We're here.
This is 680 News.
This portion of 680 News being brought to you by Lazy Boy Furniture Galleries. A Toronto art gallery wants people to stop thinking that art can only be enjoyed standing with a wine of glass in your hand. Darren Gallery, the space formerly known as the Gallery on Wade, is allowing visitors to stay overnight in the gallery to allow them to enjoy art without pressure. A recently renovated gallery's founder says the experience will help break down barriers of what might usually seem like a lofty, upscale experience. The gallery is also equipped with a shower, towels, and a couch, and is open from 5 to 11 p.m. This all comes with a $200 fee. The City of Toronto road crews will be out in full force today, working to smooth out as many potholes as possible on the city's expressways, major roadways, and neighborhood streets. It's the first blitz of the year. On a typical day, 25 crews are on the road, but during the blitz, we'll see as many as 60 on the roadways. They first started on the Gardner and Don Valley Parkway this morning. The city budget's between $4 million and $5 million a year to fix potholes. Weekend Business is next.
680 News Time, 225.
Listen up. Lazy Boy is completely overstocked and they need to move furniture fast. It's music to my ears. I hear there's crazy amounts of everything in the store. They're so desperate to move inventory and make room for all their new items that everything's priced to go. Hurry. Once it's gone, it's gone.
Live life comfortably, Lazy Boy.
Scratch and save up to an additional 25% off at 9 GTA stores plus Kitchener.
Welcome to the afterlife, old red sedan. It's a good thing your owner needed to get rid of you fast.
Well, is this where I become a kidney car?
It is. You'll start supporting life-changing medical research and backing community education immediately.
Wow, and I thought I'd sit in that driveway forever. Need to get rid of an old car? Don't scrap it. Your car has a higher calling. Get a fast, free, and friendly tow for a minimum $300 tax receipt. Donate at kidneycar.ca.
680 News Time, 226.
Now, the 680 News Weekend Business Report with a focus on small business, brought to you by Scotiabank Business Banking.
I'm Phil Martino. Fashion designer Mary DePede opened the doors to her successful clothing boutique, Mijanot, in Woodbridge, Ontario, almost 30 years ago. In an effort to keep up with the times, she recently took her business online.
So I pondered the idea for the past 3 years, I'd say 3 or 4 years now, and I went back and forth. I struggled with the idea of doing it because I feel like my consumer would like to see, touch, and try it on. On the other hand, I thought it was the way to go because that's the way business is going and retail is going, and I feel like I didn't want to miss that opportunity.
So she says she took the plunge.
In November of 2019 is when we started and launched it, and it was a lot of work, and I hired a company to set it up, as well as my employees. They're younger and computer savvy, did a lot of the work for that, and we set it up as best we could.
DePede admits there have been some challenges.
I've never done it, but it was a great learning experience, and it was a little bit of hair pulling, but it was it's up and running. It's available to people that can't come shopping, can't come to the store.
She has this advice for any small business owner who is thinking about taking his or her business online.
So I think if you can invest the time and the money to start it up, it's never going to hurt your business. And I think that just take the plunge and do it. You're never going to lose from it, and it just brings you a broader scope of customer.
Mary DePede is the owner of Mijanot in Woodbridge, Ontario. With a spotlight on small business, I'm Phil Martino.
You've worked hard to open and manage your business. You shouldn't have to work hard with your banking. That's why Scotiabank offers the right size account for business. A flexible bank account that adjusts to your everyday business banking needs. With convenient online access and low transaction fees, they can help keep your finances running smoothly. And for a limited time, you can get $100 when you open a right size account for business and a business credit solution. Certain conditions must be met. Talk to a Scotiabank advisor today.
Did you see that Roto-Rooter van over at the Millers? Yeah. Jim says there was a big sewer backup and water flooded everywhere. Yeah. Like Roto-Rooter does water cleanup now? Yeah. What, yeah?
Call Roto-Rooter for plumbing, drains, and water cleanup. Yep, they do it all.
It's time for the 680 News Business Travelers Forecast, brought to you by the Canadian Women's Foundation. On Thursday, March 5th, have lunch and LOL with Emmy-nominated comedian Samantha Bee, live in Toronto. Funds raised support the Canadian Women's Foundation. Get your tickets at canadianwomen.org.
And taking a look now at that business traveler's forecast. If you're off to Montreal today, expect it to be mostly cloudy and -8 when you get there. In Winnipeg, mostly cloudy and right at the freezing mark for the high today. Calgary, partly cloudy and -1. South of the border in Chicago, mostly cloudy and 0. Miami, some possible light rain and a high of 22 degrees. Right now in downtown Toronto, it's overcast and +1. 680 News is CFTR AM Toronto. It's 2:30.
Number 1 for news in Toronto. This is 680 News.
Who is the only news station
This
in
is Saturday,
Toronto?
the 1st of February. I'm Asher Ross.
And I'm Judy Friedman. Here's what's making news this hour.
It's Groundhog Day Eve.
After a violent triple homicide during a party at an Airbnb. Investigators still canvassing the City Place neighborhood this afternoon for witnesses and video evidence.
A man accused of striking a woman in a scooter and leaving her to die in Mississauga.
Canvassing for
is
video
now in
evidence.
custody,
Don't
and
they
police
have,
have
isn't it
now
like on a hard
identified
drive in
the
the
victim.
security office or some shit?
February 1st marks the start of Black History Month.
The opportunity to look back at the journey of Black Canadian communities in their fight for freedom and equality.
Events launch across the city.
A significant portion of the Young subway line is off limits today, affecting your trip from North York to Midtown.
The Raptors are off today, but get dealt some bad news while the Leafs are home tonight against Ottawa. Sports at 45.
And coming up in business, sometimes finding the right employee means thinking outside the box. A recruiting firm offers some insight on the mistakes many companies make.
680 News Time, 2:31.
Traffic and weather together on the ones. And with Toronto's most frequent traffic reports, here's Christine Langos.
This report is brought to you by Monte Carlo Winds. On the eastbound 401, there's a slowdown from Mississauga Road to Mavis, approaching Islington to Weston, Express and Collectors. And now there's a stalled vehicle on the eastbound 401 approaching Keele and the Collectors. Now it's off to the shoulder, but MTO crews have cordoned off the right lane. So eastbound 401 just starting to slow approaching Keele in the Collectors. Eastbound 401 is also busy through Leslie in the Collectors, and a bit of volume westbound 401 through Kennedy Collectors through Avenue Road in the Collectors mainly. Northbound Don Valley Parkway is slow go with the volume from north of Don Mills to York Mills, which is not so bad on the southbound 404 Don Valley. It's a bit slow through the Shepherd Collectors over the 401 to about York Mills, and then it picks up nicely by the time you get to Lawrence, to Don Mills, onto the Gardner. Everything is moving at the limit. Westbound Gardner a bit busy from the Don Valley Parkway to Cherry through that long-term construction. Here's some more good news. Northbound 410 at the ramp to Valleywood here, Ontario. Earlier problems have been cleared away. Looking for a wonderful winter escape? Right now at Monte Carlo Winds, you can save 20% on a luxury suite. Go to montecarlowinds.com and enter the promo code WINTER. Your next report is at 2:41. And now with the forecast, here's meteorologist Jason Fraser.
Right now, Christine, we're seeing some flurries move across the GTA, and right now they are slowly moving into the city of Toronto right now, and this is going to be the story for at least the next couple of hours. We're not expecting any major accumulation with this system. We're only expecting anywhere between a trace to up to 2 centimeters. Later on tonight, we'll see mostly cloudy skies, and the temperature dip down to around -1. Right now in downtown Toronto, it is +1 degree. Our overnight low is -1.
680 News Time, 2:33.
Police are investigating the city's latest fatal shooting, a triple homicide at a downtown condo building. There's still a heavy police presence on Queens Wharf Road today near Fort York Boulevard and Bathurst Street.
680's Leah Johansson has the latest from homicide investigators.
Shots rang out on the 32nd floor just before 10:30 last night during a party being held in a unit operating as an Airbnb. 2 men died on scene. Another was pronounced dead in hospital. They include a 22-year-old, a 20-year-old, and a 19-year-old man, but their identities have not yet been released. A fourth victim, a 20-year-old man, was also taken to hospital with serious but non-life-threatening gunshot injuries. And homicide detective Henri Marsman says a fifth victim also suffered minor injuries but was not shot.
There was a witness that did incur an injury, but he's been treated and released from hospital.
And police have not made any arrests, and they're not looking for any suspects, but would not confirm if the shooter is believed to be one of the deceased.
Our investigation has led us to believe right now that we have all the parties involved.
Meantime, officers are still working to notify the owners of the Airbnb unit. The company issuing a brief statement saying safety is a priority, and they're urgently investigating the incident. I'm Leah Johansson.
And Mayor John Tory is speaking out about last night's deadly shooting, calling it completely unacceptable. In a statement, he says the police service is working to catch those responsible, and he's urging anyone with information to come forward. He adds he met with GTA mayors and regional chairs last week to address the surge in gun violence across the GTA, and says early next week he'll be outlining additional proposed investments in neighborhoods to help young people and directly address the root causes of violence.
This is 680 News. Peel police say 56-year-old Kenneth Muffin has been arrested in connection with a fatal hit and run in Mississauga. Police say 46-year-old Penny Coussard was operating an electric mobility wheelchair when she was struck and killed in the Dixie Road and Lakeshore East area Friday morning. Constable Heather Cannon telling 680 News a black Honda was recovered in the Ogden Avenue area and an arrest was made shortly after.
Later on last night, we did locate and arrest the suspect. We've charged 56-year-old man from Mississauga. He's been charged with fail to remain, causing death, and dangerous operation of a motor vehicle.
Anyone with additional information is being asked to contact investigators.
Health officials are seeking to quash any fears Canadians may have about catching the coronavirus here at home. There are 4 confirmed cases here in Canada, all people who traveled to China where the outbreak began. Emily Javeski of the Canadian Press has more.
A woman in her 20s who's a university student in London, Ontario, is
young,
the latest
healthy
who
person.
found positive. Dr. Chris Mackey says the woman came home from Wuhan, China, and immediately isolated herself.
Because of her awareness of the risks associated with travel to Wuhan, she went straight into isolation in her home when she returned home. The only time she's been out of her home since then is to hospital for testing, and again, for the equivalent of a surgical mask.
How many food delivery guys came to her door?
3 cases of the virus have so far been confirmed in Ontario and 1 in BC. A union for Hong Kong hospital workers says its members will go on strike Monday. They're demanding the Chinese territory bar entry to visitors from the mainland in an effort to stem the spread of the new viral disease. The US, Japan, Australia, and other governments have barred or limited entry to Chinese travelers or those who had been in the province at the center of the outbreak within the past 2 weeks. From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Emily Javeski.
In a statement, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says today we celebrate the start of Black History Month and honor the legacy of Black Canadians. This year's theme, Canadians of African descent going forward, guided by the past. 680's Michelle Mackey joins us now live with how Toronto is marking the month.
Right.
Michelle.
Judy, the City of Toronto has a number of events and historical tours to recognize the past and present contributions that African Canadians make to life in Toronto. Jennifer Harrington, manager of museums with the city, says you can visit a recreated print shop from the 1850s at Mackenzie House.
And explore the story of Marianne Shad Carey, who was a multi-talented abolitionist and journalist, and the first female African-Canadian publisher in North America.
For more details on other exhibits and events happening throughout the GTA this month, you can head to the Black History Month page on the city's website. It began in the U.S. in 1926 to raise awareness and understanding in the school curriculum of the African experience around the world. Reporting live, I'm Michelle Mackey.
680 News Time, 2:37. The Raptors are in the midst of something special on the hardwood. 680's Lucas Castelletto explains.
It's time to appreciate what the Toronto Raptors are doing right now. Despite both missing time this year with injuries, Pascal Siakam and Kyle Lowry are all-stars, and they have both helped the team play some of their best basketball of the season. The Raptors kept on rolling in the Motor City last night and are now 1 win shy of tying one of the franchise's all-time records. Siakam led the team with 30 points en route to the Raptors' 10th straight win against the Pistons.
Hey, that's something I've been working on, like just getting to the basket. I know I'm capable to do that every possession, so I just got to do it, and coming from an injury and all that, so I'm getting my legs back.
The Raptors will aim for their 11th straight win on Sunday against the Bulls at Scotiabank Arena and have a chance to break the record on Wednesday against the Pacers. I'm Lucas Castelletto.
Are you commuting today? Well, a heads up for you. The TTC has some service disruptions. Subway service on Line 1 will be shut down from Finch to Eglinton all weekend long. Shuttle buses, though, will be running. North York Centre Station will be closed, so Wheel-Trans commuters can always talk to a TTC employee if they need help. During this closure, workers will be installing a signaling system, and all service is expected to resume on Monday.
Coming up in 30 seconds, we will let you know what's happening with pump prices.
Dishes.
News time, 2:39.
Dishes? I mean, they're dropping by the house anyway, right?
Terror doesn't just bring rain, but freezing rain. Not just sleet, but the slushiest of sleet. And worst of all, Wind Terror brings snow days, which means you have to take the kids into work. No! Make it stop! Bring on winter in a Subaru. Hurry in for great rates from 0.99% at your Ontario Subaru dealer.
Now the 680 News gas price update. And for predicting the price of gas is not going to change at midnight. It will hold at just under $1.10 a liter. Traffic, weather together next.
680 News Time 2:40.
Sell-off Vacations once a year clear-out sale is on. So, do you drop what you're doing and book now? So that's a yes. Sell-off Vacations once a year clear-out.
This is some fucked up shit. I had to read them all. I think I read them out of order, but I think I got the gist of the story. So there's people that make a living telling stories, and that's all fine and well, but they say some weird shit sometimes, so I'm going to read some of what some of these people have said. You take it however you want. August 24th, 2019, Mob War, all caps. What's driving underworld bloodshed? Same things it always do, probably. I don't know if there's more murders now or not. I have no fucking idea. Longtime underworld watcher James Dubrow neatly described. I don't know what that means. What is an underworld watcher? Because I watch movies with gangsters in them, and then there's like cops that watch the underworld in general. Like, what the fuck is an underworld watcher? Longtime underworld watcher James Dubrow neatly described the current gangland landscape in southern Ontario in January. Chaos, with a mounting list of casualties, shifting alliances, and a hit list ripping open the soft underbelly of the mob's elite. It's getting tough to know the players without a program. The whole fucking article is written like this. The most recent casualty was 64-year-old Ranchi restaurateur Paulo Caputo, who was shot to death on a sunny Friday afternoon in front of his Italian eatery. Roncesvalles Avenue. So far, cops have remained tight-lipped on the wherefores and whys. Caputo is a player. Caputo isn't a player. He was a boss. He was collateral damage. And then there's a quote from The Godfather. I'm not reading it. Theories are rife at what is driving the current underworld carnage. One view is that a crew of young Turks who aren't happy with the status quo and want what's coming to them right now. But they really shouldn't use that reference in Toronto because there's Turkish people here. And some people might not realize that's a euphemism. Another potential scenario is that the current bloodshed has its roots in the January 22nd, 1978 murder of Montreal mobster Paolo Violi. He was shot in the head with the traditional Sicilian mob weapon, the lupara, while playing cards. I don't know what that is. After that, the way was clear. I could Google it, but I didn't do that yet. After that, the way was clear for the Rizzuto clan to rule Montreal. Violi's sons were sent to live with relatives in Hamilton, the Lupino clan. Fast forward, Violi's son, this gets complicated. Violi's son, Domenico, is now a reputed underboss of the Buffalo crime family. The Musitano crime family, led by Pat Musitano, have long been Rizzuto allies. Figure it out. I'm not sure what you're hinting at. I read what you said. I'm not sure what you're hinting at yet. You saying you know who killed this guy in the 70s or some shit? Like, On May 2nd, 2017, Angelo Musitano was shot dead in his truck in the driveway of his watered-down home. Another 4 would be killed in the intervening 2 years, including Cece Lupino, who was murdered on the doorstep of his Hamilton Mountain home in January, and Lupino-linked realtor Albert Lavarone in September 2018. Lavarone? That would be an I, wouldn't it? Okay, so that's a pet peeve I have, is I don't know if they made a mistake and put a lowercase L or if that's a capital I and I'm supposed to pronounce it Lavarone. More recently, an assassin narrowly missed taking Pat Musitano off the board, like it's a sports game, when he was shot multiple times in front of his lawyer's Mississauga office in April. He was released from hospital 2 weeks later, but has since put his Hamilton home on the market and has been lying very low. Now, this guy knows because he's an underworld watcher, so he's been watching, and I guess that means he hasn't seen him for a while. Dubrow told this fucking outlet he believes the rotund criminal's days are numbered and have only been extended because of the incompetence of the hitters who have gone after him. So this guy's just saying stuff about everybody. Quote, Pat has a big target on his back, and the most sensible thing for him to do would be to get out of the country, Dubrow said. That sounds very authoritarian, you know. Adding he doubts Musitano had anything to do with the Caputo hit. The restaurant owner, whose brother, Caputo's brother, Martino, is connected to the Rizzutos, if you say so, and is currently doing life for a murder in a 2012 cocaine ripoff. This happened around the corner from my grandmother's house. Well, this was 8 years ago, and she don't live there no more, so. It says Martino Caputo is in jail for his role in the takeout, Jesus Christ, of cocaine dealer Johnny Maserati Raposo at the Sicilian Sidewalk Cafe during the 2012 World Cup, College and Ossington, I believe. Then on the other side of the street is Portuguese. So I'd say it is safe to say the hit could be a part of the ongoing mob turf wars in Ontario and Quebec, but it is hard to say why Caputo was a target, as he didn't run a mafia family and has never been identified as a mobster by the police or the press, Dubrow said. There's another article I should have pulled up. Why was he hit now? You're the fucking answer man, Mr. whatever your name is. Another theory is that the Caputo hit was connected to his brother's murder conviction and the possibility Martino stole someone else's cocaine and didn't pay up. Okay, so I'll just keep reading. It's very long-winded. In recent years, mobsters have been breaking rules that have stood the test of time for generations, according to the movies. One of the main ones is don't kill cops, civilians, and family members who are not in the business. Angelo Musitano was reportedly no longer involved in the family business. There's got to be an I. Lavarone, but you spelled it different, motherfucker. I swear this shit pisses me off. Oh, I'm not looking for it. Damn it. Angelo Musitano was reportedly no longer involved in the family business. Lavarone was a bit player. Cece Lupino was whistling clean and was even recorded on tape saying there was no way he wanted to become a member. All are dead. And it remains unlikely that Paul Caputo was... Do any of these guys ever run around saying... Are they known for running around saying that they're fucking criminals? All are dead, and it remains unlikely that Paul Caputo was involved in the underworld in any serious way, if at all. But when Martino Caputo and 3 Confederates decided to take out Johnny Maserati Raposo on the patio of the Sicilian Sidewalk Cafe in Little Italy during the 2012 Euro Cup, it made his brother a target. The killers had conspired to steal 200 kilograms of cocaine from Raposo. And that guy supposedly came from BC and has gang ties that are even more twisted than these. In addition, the success of Project Sindicato, that's very creative, Toronto Police, has a number of the city's Andrangheta crime cells, quote, on the ropes, Dubrow said. In July, York Regional Police arrested and charged Angelo Figliomeni, 56, the suspected boss of the Figliomeni crime family, plus 8 others allegedly under his direction after an 18-month illegal gaming probe. Cops seized 23 cars, including 5 Ferraris, $1 million in cash, $1 million in jewelry, including Rolex watches. You have to mention the Rolexes, as well as gaming and ATM machines. They take more than $35 million. As far as what's next, the next corpse might tell the tale. For now, chickens are coming home to roost in a tit-for-tat bloodbath that shows no sign of ebbing. That was August. So, I don't want to say the wrong gang ties, but the information is public. Where the fuck was I? I don't know who this guy is. He's not the writer of the friggin' article. He's just some guy that's an underworld watcher. I don't know what the fuck that means. Lots of people watch the underworld, but like Hunter, expect more killings in bloody GTA mob mayhem. The underworld bloodletting that it. Oh fuck, that's the wrong one. Hold on. They're not in the right order on my screen. Okay, this one, November 16th, 2019. This is why I checked the date. Crime Hunter. Mobs, old fellas, I swear to God it says that, still putting bodies in the ground. Motherfucker. Michael Meldish didn't want to square up his gambling debt. After all, the 63-year-old had his own violent crime group in the Big Apple, the Purple Gang. Why should he? According to the New York Daily News, Meldish and company were freelance killers for the Lucchese, Genovese, and Bonanno crime families. His Purple Gang controlled the... There was another gang called the Purple Gang decades ago. His Purple Gang controlled the drug rackets in Harlem and the Bronx and ruled them with murder. Sounds like a fucking movie synopsis on the back. Eh? Like, I'm thinking, for $5 I'll rent this. Is worth it already. Cops suspected Meldish's baby brother, Joe, 56. He's 63. Okay, his baby brother, 56, iced at least 70 men in contract killings. That's a pretty dope little brother to have, eh? He's doing a 25 spot for a 1999 homicide. That's what it says. So I'm assuming that's 25 years. Despite those tight ties to the mob, Meldish refused to pay his $100,000 debt to then acting Lucchese boss Matthew Madonna, 84. All you motherfuckers are going to be on the same fucking wing of the fucking nursing home, eh? Or the old age section of the correctional facility, whatever the fuck. It's the same fucking difference. I might end up there. I don't know. He reportedly told the elderly crime boss, fuck off. But $100,000 to these guys is just enough that it's the principle of the fucking matter. You already know. Quote, not repaying a boss is a dangerous game, Assistant U.S. Attorney Celia Cohen said. Michael Meldish is dead because of these 4 men. Old fellas. The boss wanted Meldish taken off the board. Off the board. There's that word, that term again. On no, it's like a newspaper article from the 30s. On November 15, 2013, cops found Meldish dead in his car in Throg's Neck. I don't know where that is. A bullet had been parked in his skull. They parked a bullet. They didn't shoot him. They parked a bullet in his skull. Okay. One witness told the court, this is so stupid, quote, "When I saw him up close, he didn't look drunk. He looked dead." Legendary. This is the word it says. Legendary NYPD mob detective Joe Coffey wasn't going to be paying his respects to Meldish. Quote, "Michael was a stone-cold killer," Coffey told the news in 2013. "It should have happened a long time ago. I call it vermin killing vermin. Poetic justice." So he's like the old school New York cop. Okay, we get it. There's no killers on the New York police, eh? On Friday, so whatever fucking date this would have been just before this date, Madonna, Stephen Wonderboy Crea, Wonderboy, Christopher Londonio, and Terrence Caldwell were convicted in federal court of carrying out the Meldish hit. The news reported that Wonderboy, his underboss, helped Madonna come to the execution order, and the call went down the pipeline. Court heard that Meldish, I swear they read fucking movie scripts before they write these articles. Court heard that Meldish's buddy, Londonio, set the gangster up for death, and mob associate Caldwell was the trigger man. London drove the getaway car, because there's got to be 4 fucking guys, 1 for each role, right? Quote, "The violent and disturbing acts of these 4 organized crime figures included the brutal murder of associate Michael Meldish. Fittingly, all 4 defendants have been found guilty of their heinous acts of fraud, extortion, and murder." Might as well just say murder. On the 6-year anniversary of Meldish's death, Manhattan U.S. Attorney Jeffrey Berman said, "Just remember, the U.S. Attorney and Assistant Attorney feel the same way as that cop does. They don't give a fuck. It's just an excuse to lock somebody else up." The 4 gangsters face spending the rest of their lives in prison for killing in aid of racketeering, which is apparently way worse than killing in self-defense or something. I don't know. Londonio, at 350 pounds, bizarrely tried to escape from jail and went on a crash diet to slip through the bars. I don't know what they're talking about. It's going to be a tougher squeeze now for the corpulent criminal. That's where it fucking ends. This November. They're all in fucking order. December. Okay. These all tie together. Somebody dressed as a construction worker wearing a drywall mask shot this Johnny Maserati. I'll put it to you this way: when you live around the corner from these people, you don't you don't fucking pay attention to what people say about what they do. So I don't know who the fuck he is, because why would I? I don't need to know who's bringing in hundreds of kilos of coke. He's the fucking neighbor. That's his fucking business. Fucking. There's police officers' relatives, like elderly relatives that live in this neighborhood, in that neighborhood. It's a mix, but when you live around these people, it's different. It's very different. You don't like this underworld watcher. Like he seems to know way more than I do about all this shit. And it happened. It's not the worst way to go. He was sitting in an Italian, what was it, espresso shop or ice cream shop or whatever, watching the fucking 2012 fucking Euro Cup. Or whatever the fuck it's called. Expect more killings in bloody, and they're quoting that in the headline because they're quoting this guy, in bloody GTA mob mayhem. December 30th, 2019, so the very end of last year. The underworld bloodletting that has sent a slew of mobsters to the morgue. These are all old motherfuckers too, no offense, but like, whatever is going to happen from them dying was going to happen soon anyway, because they would have died soon anyway. But that one motherfucker, 26 years in an Italian prison, the food must be good. But I bet they probably like don't get Parmesan or something, or like no garlic or some shit to fuck with them on some level like that. Or you get Parmesan one day, or you get garlic the next day. You don't get everything the same day or some shit. The underworld bloodletting that has sent a slew of mobsters to the morgue is certain to turn 2020 into another violent year. Various criminal groups. So this guy's an underworld watcher, which means he's watching the entire underworld apparently. I wonder if he knows my name. Various criminal groups ranging from traditional organized crime. I don't know what that means. What is traditional organized crime? Is it different from, like, is there neo-organized crime or some shit? To street gangs, which I thought were pretty traditional. To the Hells Angels, I thought they were traditional too, are all vying for a seat at the buffet. Drugs, gambling, girls, and a cavalcade of new illicit money-making schemes are the golden chalices. I don't know where I would put a gambling machine, because the cops would see it wherever I would put it, and they would just take it. They would just walk away with it. And with billions at stake, that's a prize worth killing for, because everybody knows exactly how much money everybody's making, right? Nobody pays any fucking taxes. Everybody knows how much money everybody's making. Quote, I expect more mob killings in the ongoing Andrangheta shakeout. Underworld watcher James Dubrow told this fucking media outlet. There are several of the Calabrese criminal clans operating in the GTA. Well, there's people from all over the fucking world in the GTA. Dubrow believes the clock is ticking down to it's the fucking United Nations of fucking crime over here. And that's what I mean. You live next door to people. You know, like some of the fucking day-to-day shit's really different. Dubrow believes it's not all like it is on fucking TV and movies and shit. Most of it's not. My grandmother always referred to the mafia house down the street, and I eventually figured out which one she was talking about, but I never really paid it any attention. But she knew more. She knew everything that was going on in the neighborhood, because the neighborhood watch is just a bunch of old ladies on the porch watching the fucking street. But that's how she referred to it, the mafia house. What fucking house are you talking about, Grandma? Dubrow believes the clock is ticking down to zero. Clock's ticking down to zero. On reputed Hamilton mob chieftain Pat Musitano. Remember, this guy got shot a few times in front of his lawyer's office. Big fat motherfucker too, eh? He's been eating good. He has predicted Musitano's demise in the past, but the wily son of the underworld has survived, battered but still standing. Quote, the killing will continue. Amazingly, I started working on mob stories in 1974. He means reading them. And things are almost worse today. Things are almost worse today. That's as we enter. Fuck. You've been writing that fucking long. As we enter 2020 in terms of numbers of slayings and criminal activities. But he didn't say of slayings. They had to put that in there. In terms of numbers and criminal activities, Dubrow said. He added, quote, organized crime is different than it was in the 1970s. In 1970s, organized crime was different than 1920s organized crime, motherfucker. There are more criminal groups and they're more diverse. The warfare that started with the slaying of mob scion Angelo Musitano outside his watered-down home in 2017 shows no sign of ebbing. This guy's given no reason behind why these guys are getting shot. Musitano had reportedly retreated from his family's criminal enterprises but was still clipped. His death was the first sign that gangland rivals were tossing away the old rules. It was now open season on families and fringe players alike. A mobster's soft underbelly. See, this is all very poetic and very wordy. C.C. Lupino must have realized that on January 30th, 2019, when the 43-year-old was gunned down at his Hamilton home. So now you know what he's thinking as he was dying, eh? His father is reputed crime lord Rocco Lupino. But his son did not have a criminal record, wasn't known to police, and was even caught on tape saying he wanted nothing to do with the underworld. It didn't save him. And in August, Roncesvalles Avenue restaurateur Paul Caputo, 64, was murdered late on a Friday afternoon. Caputo was rumored to have underworld connections, but if anything was a bit player. So his brother supposedly killed the Italian guy on the patio over a portion of a 200-kilogram shipment of cocaine, allegedly. He's convicted of the cocaine. I don't know, bro. Nobody tells us what happens to all that cocaine. It just disappears. Much of the current chaos in the criminal milieu, nice loan word use, emanates from Montreal. Oh, wow, that was fitting. Where alliances melt like snow in spring. The Musitano, I thought the Quebecois sort of stuck together in a way. The Francophones, anyway. The Musitano clan had long been allied with the Rizzutos, but that crime, yeah, these are Italians, but they speak fucking French too, eh? The Musitano, and English, like everybody has to speak a little bit of English in this fucking country. The Musitano clan had long been allied with the Rizzutos, but that crime group's omnipotent power is fading, and the Hamilton crew now find themselves surrounded by enemies on all sides. Pat Musitano discovered that in April. The alleged gangster, after all this shit you just said, the alleged gangster barely survived a brazen daytime assassination attempt. It's always brazen when it's in the daytime. Like if it's between sunrise and sunset, it's brazen and all these other words. Daytime assassination attempt outside his lawyer's Mississauga office. A hitman parked, again, use of that word, numerous bullets into Musitano, but not the magic one. Magic, eh? This is the way they talk about people. These are people that they're talking about. Like, you may not like them because they're bad guys, but like the speculation and like just like they're not sitting in their buddy's basement getting drunk saying these things. They're printing them and citing each other for their quotes. A suspected Montreal hit squad's next kick at the can in whacking the mobster was also a debacle outside Musitano's Hamilton home. Police sources say mafia power brokers have increasingly offloaded killing to hitters from street gangs in Toronto and Montreal. 200 kilos of cocaine being taken out of circulation is going to piss off a lot of people. These guys don't appear to be particularly good at planting their targets in the ground. Yeah, sometimes there's if you're going to do a crime, you shouldn't do a crime on top of the crime. Like you're trying to sneak in some cocaine and then sell the cocaine. That's two crimes, really, if you think about it. And then you're going to go kill a guy. That's the third crime, and steal the cocaine. That's 4 crimes. You're going to steal the cocaine, but you're still going to sell it somehow. and nobody's gonna know where the fuck you are, but you're gonna still be that. That's too much. That's like a bad plot for a movie, like a fucking movie. I'm not saying kill people or don't kill people. I just think sometimes people do things for dumb fucking reasons. Because if you kill the guy, don't you think he's got other people that are going to show up at the drop anyway? Challenging the supremacy of traditional organized... I watch movies too. I guess I just learned different lessons from them. Challenging the supremacy of traditional organized crime. I think they mean Italian organized crime. I had to read all that to get that hint. Has been the Hells Angels. Who've been around a long time. They're pretty traditional. Who have been fighting their own legal battles in Quebec. And they're always fighting legal battles in Quebec. Yet their tentacles, they're not specifying which ones he's referring to, yet their tentacles stretch deep into Ontario. They are fighting for every dime bag. They're just poking like, oh, the rich bikers, you're fighting for every dime bag. Are you fucking serious? Like, those guys have money, and half of them have fucking real jobs and shit that make good money. Like, those bikes aren't cheap. It's a status symbol thing, but they don't just get handed a motorcycle for fucking just showing up. This is Dubrow again, quote, Hell's Angels are picking up steam in the drug world. Wow. And black street gang shootings and killings will continue, Dubrow added. Black street gangs buy drugs too, you know. Somebody's going to sell it to them. Since the botched hit on Musitano, see, he's saying all these things in a slanted way. He still hasn't offered up anything specific. Like, I'm not aware of there being a bunch of black street gang shootings that are known to have been done by the Hells Angels. Or the Hells Angels fighting over every dime bag with the Italians and these other guys. I don't fucking see anything to back that up. So they will continue, Dubrow added. Since the botched hit on Musitano, the longtime underworld figure has kept a low profile. Well, he got shot. That's physically demanding, eh? He doesn't look like he was walking all that much in the first place. He has also moved from his central Hamilton home. Pat Musitano's time is up. Finally and for real, Dubrow said. But don't book a tux for the coronation just yet. There's at least one or two more articles. I know I fucking have them. I just have to remember a key word in the title or some shit. Nope. That was a loud bang. August 16th. I think this is the right one. Man killed. So this is August 16, 2019. So I read them out of order, technically. Man killed in drive-by shooting in front of Roncesvalles restaurant. And these motherfuckers own restaurants and espresso shops and all sorts of shit too. Right? Toronto police are investigating what's being described. And by the way, the Shermans had $5 billion in a mansion and still got killed. And they were legal drug dealers, Apotex. Toronto police are investigating what's being... And the police don't know who's done none of this fucking shit. Toronto police are investigating what's being described as a fatal drive-by shooting in the city's Roncesvalles neighborhood Friday afternoon. That's ballsy because traffic is bad. You could end up with a streetcar in front of you and parked cars and another streetcar and more parked cars and nowhere to fucking go. Officers were called to the Roncesvalles Avenue and Grenadier Road area just after 4 p.m. for reports of multiple shots fired. When they arrived, they located a man with a gunshot wound to the stomach. Police said he died at the scene. Police have identified the victim as Paulo Caputo, 64, of Richmond Hill. These are old motherfuckers too. No offense. I'm trying to get that old too, but this isn't 16-year-old kids fighting over $20 crack drops. This is fucking grown man shit. This is like, you've been spitting in my espresso for 25 years and I'm gonna fucking kill you myself type shit. If it's the last thing I do. That's what's going on. Some of this shit. Detective Sergeant Andy Singh said Caputo was shot in front of the Domani restaurant at 335 Roncesvalles Avenue. We should check the Google star rating on that. I'm sure it's nothing wrong with it. Roncesvalles to me is around the corner. I don't give a fuck who owns the guy that the newspaper says owns a fucking restaurant, and they say he's a criminal or his brother might be a criminal or whatever. From what we know of the scene thus far, if they're selling shit out of the place, the pizza and fucking cans of Coke should be fucking free. What the hell? And they weren't, so I don't believe this shit. From what we know of this, I know because I've bought dope at a fucking storefronts. Hey man, grab a pop. Okay, you too. Okay. From what we know of the scene thus far, it seems to be a targeted shooting specifically for the gentleman who is now deceased. Singh said a firearm, that was an interesting way to phrase that, specifically for the gentleman who is now deceased. Singh said a firearm was located at the scene. Police are now on the hunt for a suspect they describe as being 5'11" to 6'2" with a thin build and a fair complexion. He was last seen fleeing westbound on Constant Street in a white four-door SUV. Those are very vague descriptions. I'm 6'2". I don't think I'd be mistaken for 5'11", but if you were 5'9", you might get mistaken for 5'11". He was in an SUV. But it ends there. What the fuck? No, there's more to this story. But supposedly the vehicle was seen going up and down the street. Okay, and there's another... Proposal. No. This first Maserati just pulled up in front of my grandma's house and like guards are fucking trunk. I don't know, mods have trunks. Call him Johnny Maserati apparently.